guys, today's video is about you. Well, it's still about me in a way, but I want to know about you guys. I don't know about you, but every time I meet a diabetic, or if a diabetic reaches out to me through email or social media, I really want to know about them. I want to know how they were diagnosed, I want to know when they were diagnosed, what insulin, do they inject, do they pump? For those of you who haven't seen my diagnosis story, my name is Sarah, I'm 22. I was diagnosed on the 8th of February 2015, so I really haven't been diabetic for long. Basically, after the birth of my daughter, it was like a little switch had just flicked and I felt so poorly. I was so unwell, I was really weak. I didn't know really how to feel, after a baby, after my daughter. So, although I was feeling so terrible, I didn't really know any different. I didn't know mums don't usually feel that way. But yeah, months had gone by and I'd still felt so bad. I was even worse. I couldn't walk up the stairs without being out of breath. I was so thirsty. I was so emotionally unstable as well. I had gone to the doctors for blood tests and urine tests multiple times and nothing had shown up, even though I had said to my doctor that my brother was diagnosed with diabetes actually just a couple of months before I was diagnosed, which is kind of crazy. It got to February and it was a Sunday afternoon. I had been in bed all morning and, probably for the past week as well, I was bedridden. My boyfriend had to take time off work and my mum had to take a lot of time off work because I simply couldn't care for my daughter. And it's heartbreaking because I will never get that 6 months of her life back. I look back on those times and it isn't joy, which is really sad to say. It wasn't joy. I was miserable, I was tired, I was weak, and yeah, it just wasn't a good time of my life, which is really sad to say because they're the most precious moments that I will never get back. Yeah, she was 2 months early as well. It was a really hard, stressful time worrying about her. When I had her, I was going back and forward from the hospital because she actually stayed in the hospital for about a month or so. My symptoms got worse. We wasn't sure what was wrong. One Sunday morning, my mum came into my room and said, "Look, what do you want to do?" And I was like, I can't get up. And she offered to take me to the hospital, and through tears I said yes, and we went there. I got out of the car barely being able to walk, and I got to the reception and I couldn't talk without, really heavy breathing. So my mum sat me down and she gave all my details to the receptionist. We were rushed in straight away because I probably looked like death at this point. My sugars were way high, I had ketones, and I was straight away put on a cannula, and then they inserted another cannula, so I had cannulas in both of my arms, which was not nice. But after that, I spent 5 nights in the hospital, and as a new mum, it was heartbreaking leaving my daughter. Although I was happy with my diagnosis, I was happy I knew what was wrong, I had no idea what diabetes was, and I had no idea how much of an impact it would have on my life. One of the first things I noticed when I got out of the hospital was how light she actually felt. Because to me, before I was diagnosed, she was like a bag of bricks. Everyone else was picking her and chucking her up like, wee! But me, I was like, really struggling to pick her up. That's one of the first things I noticed after my sugars had been, changed from hospital. I noticed how light she was, how light she actually was. I could pick her up, I could cuddle her, and I felt so thankful for it. The team at the hospital I went to were really kind. This one lady came round to give me my diabetic equipment, and she was explaining everything that I had to do, and I was sitting on the bed like, yeah, okay, that's cool, I don't mind, I understand. And she looked at me, and I now understand like the sympathetic look that she had, because she knew I didn't have a clue what I was getting into. And her face, and even though I didn't understand her face at that time, I understand it now, because it impacts your life so much. I didn't think this little thing about controlling sugars was going to be so hard. In my head, on the hospital bed, I was like, just inject, my sugars will just level out. Oh no, my sugars are all over the place and everything affects them. Stress, exercise, whatever I'm doing, everything affects my sugars. And I didn't know that at the time. Even though I had multiple leaflets to read, I had a lot of advice going in. The most memorable time of the hospital for me was one morning I was texting my granddad saying that I had just gotten my diabetic kit, you know, like my lancets, my glucose meter, everything, and I told him that I would be checking my sugars for the first time. And what I failed to mention to him was, just before he arrived, they switched my lancing device with another lady because she didn't understand it, and I had no time to get used to that equipment. My granddad came to visit, and the nurse came round to check my sugars, and my granddad just went, you know what, you should let Sarah do it. I tried, I had no idea what I was doing. I spent, you know, not even like 10 minutes with the new lancing device, and I was like, I don't understand how it works. But trying to keep cool, trying to let everyone know that I know what I'm doing, I tried to, it wasn't just a pull one, it was like a twist and pull one, and then I was getting the lancet like, did it go in there? And it went wrong, and I was embarrassed, and at that moment I just wanted to cry. I couldn't do it. My nurse ended up doing it for me, and I just remember that night, after everyone had left me alone, I just cried and cried and cried, and it was so silly because it was such a small thing, but it just made me realise how much I didn't know about what I was going into, how much I had to learn. And that was just learning how to, you know, set up my lancing device, which for me is really easy right now. Just take the lid off, put the lancet in, twist it round. At that time, I felt so incredibly sad and down about everything. It's okay, we're over that now. I've just got to remember how far I've actually come, you know, from being diagnosed and not even be able to work out how my lancing device works, to injecting myself and testing my sugars myself. You know, I've come a long way, and you know, there is still a long way to go. I've still got so much to learn. It's one of those things, you're never going to know everything about diabetes. Well, I don't think you're ever going to know everything about diabetes. You are definitely going to know a lot, and you will learn something new all the time. I'm forever learning new things, you know, how biscuits play with my sugars, how pasta plays with my sugars, like vegetables, what's carbs, what's not. I'm forever learning, and it's great. But I still kind of wish I had more knowledge. I'm always looking to learn more. I'm currently reading Think Like a Pancreas, and I just want to know all the information that is available to me, and for you guys, I'm learning even more. You know, I posted a video up and I got a comment saying, you should have done this, or this releases carbs as slowly, which is why your sugars dropped, and all those kind of things. It's so helpful to me, and I'm so thankful for all of you guys that I would really like to know about you. Yeah, that is enough about me. So you guys support my channel and I'm so thankful for you. I'm so thankful for you for following me on social media, which is great. I love the support that I get when I need it. Even the support I get when I don't need it. Like, I'll post a picture out and someone will go, yes, you've got this. And I'm like, wow, thank you. I didn't even know I needed that support, but yes, you've got this too. So let me know about you. It could be a short sentence. It could be a short story. I will end up reading it. So take care, guys. I'll see you in the next video.